What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we'll be reading John chapter 10. I'm reading from the NLT, the New Living Translation. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. John chapter 10. I assure you, anyone who sneaks over the wall of a sheepfold rather than going through the gate must surely be a thief and a robber. For a shepherd enters through the gate. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hear his voice and come to him. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. After he has gathered his own flock, he walks ahead of them, and they follow him, because they recognize his voice. They won't follow a stranger. They will run from him because they don't recognize his voice. Those who heard Jesus use this illustration didn't understand what he meant, so he explained it to them. I assure you, I am the gate for the sheep, he said. All others who come before me were thieves and robbers, but the true sheep did not listen to them. Yes, I am the gate. Those who come in through me will be saved. Wherever they go, they will find green pastures. The thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give life and in all its fullness. I am the good shepherd, and the good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. A hired hand will run when he sees a wolf coming. He will leave the sheep because they aren't his and he isn't their shepherd. And so the wolf attacks them and scatters the flock. The hired hand runs away because he is merely hired and has no real concern for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my own sheep, and they know me, just as my Father knows me, and I know the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep too, that are not in the sheepfold. I must bring them also, and they will listen to my voice, and there will be one flock with one shepherd. The Father loves me because I lay down my life, that I may have it back again. No one can take my life from me. I lay down my life voluntarily, for I have the right to lay it down when I want to, and also the power to take it again. For my Father has given me this command. When he said these things, the people were again divided in their opinion about him. Some of them said, he has a demon, or he's crazy. Why listen to a man like that? Others said, this doesn't sound like a man possessed by a demon. Can a demon open the eyes of a blind of the blind? So for that, talking about the blind, that's in previous chapter 9, when Jesus healed the blind man on the Sabbath. So Jesus talks a lot about him, him being the shepherd, and here us being the sheep. And I was kind of reading through some of the little portions of the Bible that are kind of like the commentary throughout here, right, where they describe a couple of things. So one of the things that I found interesting, so that at nighttime, what they have written in here, so at nighttime, when the shepherd would lead his sheep, they would usually have some kind of enclosure, right, surrounded by rocks outside, possibly like shrubbery or anything like that, and there would be one opening to where all the sheep would come in. So he would have all the sheep go in through that opening, and then he would be the gate. He would lay down, he would sleep right at that opening. That way, if anything was to come in, it would have to come in through him, right? So that's why Jesus uses that illustration, saying that he is the gate. So nothing is going to be able to get to us unless it comes through him first. Meaning more in, like, obviously the spiritual realm of Satan and his demons trying to attack us. They would have to go through Jesus first. Also, there's a lot of conversation or a lot of talking where Jesus says that the sheep will hear my voice, right? So at times, I personally never experienced anything like this, but people have. And also in the end times, there will be a lot of people saying like, oh, this is the Messiah, Jesus has come back, look over there, look over here, right? That's Jesus. Don't listen to them, for one, because Jesus does say, my sheep will know my name or my voice. So whenever Jesus truly does speak to you, you will have absolutely no doubt that it is Jesus talking, right? And if he says, hey, come here, come there, you will have no doubt that it is his voice and he is the one that's guiding you, not anything else. And I don't exactly know what the end time is going to look like, or what things of that nature, exactly what's going to happen. We have kind of the insight of what to expect through the book of Revelations, through what Jesus says, and through what all the old prophets in the Old Testament used to say. However, we don't exactly know the exact details of what's going to happen. So who knows, there might be some kind of voice or something like that that's going to get announced throughout the whole entire world. I don't know. However, I do know one thing for a fact, is that when Jesus decides to come back, and when Jesus is going to talk to me personally, and to the rest of the believers, and things of that nature, we will know exactly who it is, because he says that my sheep will know my voice. And about a month back, my the pastor at my church that I go to, he was kind of used this illustration, and it's so funny because I've seen the video before, and it's a video on social media, right, of a sheep. A shepherd is digging like a trench along his property line, seems like, and the sheep just comes up and just jumps and head first dives in right into the trench. And what does he do? He goes over there, he pulls the sheep out, and then goes back to his work, and a few seconds later the sheep just trots a couple of feet further and does the same thing, just dives head first into the trench again to where he has to pull him out. And that's kind of illustration to think about how Jesus is with us, right? We'll continue and we'll just do dumb things over and over again, like jump into the ditch head first and get stuck, and Jesus is going to come back again and pull us out. If we are his, he's going to come back and pull us out. He's not going to lose any of his sheep. All right, so let's continue here. It was now winter, and Jesus was in Jerusalem at the time of Hanukkah. He was at the temple walking through the section known as the Solomon's Colonnade. The Jewish leaders surrounded him and asked, "How long are you going to keep us in suspense? If you're the Messiah, tell us plainly." Jesus replied, "I have already told you, and you don't believe me. The proof is what I do in the name of my Father. But you don't believe me because you're not part of my flock. My sheep recognize my voice." Here he says it again. "I know them, and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and they will never perish. No one will snatch them away from me, for my Father has given them to me, and he is more powerful than anyone else. So no one can take them from me. The Father and I are one." So what does he mean, no one can take them from me? Obviously, there's still going to be persecution, and there's still going to be terrible things that are happening, in this world, right? But all of these things are just of worldly type of tragedies that might occur. The biggest tragedy is the forever separation from God, right? Of going to hell. And what Jesus is saying, once these sheep are mine, by what he means by nobody is that sin will not be able to take them away. Sin will not be able to grab them back and drag them into the pits of hell, because once they enter through the gates of heaven, that is it. That's what he means, that these are going to be my sheep. Nobody's going to be able to snatch them away from me. Regardless of what happens on earth, there's tons of persecution happening all around the world and things of that nature. That's of this world. What he's talking about, that nobody is going to be able to snatch him or grab him or anything like that, is more in the spiritual type of realm. And then he says, "The Father and I are one." Obviously, the Jewish leaders were not very happy hearing that. So once again, the Jewish leaders picked up stones to kill him. Jesus said, "At my Father's direction, I have done many things to help the people. For which one of these good deeds are you killing me?" They replied, "Not for any good work, but for blasphemy, because you, a mere man, have made yourself a god." Jesus replied, "It is written in your own law that God said to certain leaders of the people, 'I say you are gods.'" And that's gods with small g. "And you know that the scripture cannot be altered. So if the people who received God's message were called gods, why do you call it blasphemy when the Holy One, who has sent into the world by the Father, says, 'I am the Son of God'? Don't believe me unless I carry out my Father's work. But if I do his work, believe in what I have done, even if you don't believe me. Then you will realize that the Father is in me, and I am in the Father." So what he's referring to here when it says, "It is written in your own law that God said to certain leaders of the people, 'I say you are gods.'" That is in Psalms 82, 6. So we'll flip to that real quick, just so that you guys can verify it. And I'm going to read a little bit more, not just that passage. So Psalms 82 is very short. Here we go. "So God presides over heaven's court. He pronounces judgment on the judges. How long will you judges hand down unjust decisions? How long will you shower special favors on the wicked? Give fair judgment to the poor and the orphans. Uphold the rights of the oppressed and the destitute. Rescue the poor and helpless. Deliver them from the grasp of evil people. But these oppressors know nothing. They are so ignorant, and because they're in the darkness, the whole world is shaken to the core. I say, you are gods and children of the Most High. But in death you're mere men. You will fall as any prince, for all must die. Again, so you're gods and children of the Most High. So gods, it's in the small g there, children of the Most High, right? And then it says, but on death you are mere men, so we will all die on this earth, right? You will fall as any prince, for all must die. So all people, all of our bodies will die. However, our spirit is going to be carried on. Rise up, O God, and judge the earth, for all the nations belong to you. And that's it for Psalms 82. So that's where this is referencing to. Once again, they tried to arrest him, but he got away and left them. He went beyond the Jordan River to stay near the place where John was first baptizing, and many followed him. John didn't do miracles, they remarked to one another, but all his predictions about this man have come true, and many believed in him there. Anyways, guys, that's it for chapter 10. As always, hopefully you guys got something out of it. If you have any questions, please shoot them in the comments or give me a direct message. That way I can respond. I'll do my best to respond to them. If I don't know the answer, I will do my best to do the research and give you the right answer. As always, guys, I love you. God bless you and your families, and take care.